Hello everyone! Welcome to our channel Into the University. This channel talks about a variety of things happening inside universities, shares thoughts and experiences, as well as answers questions to give better understanding in academia, technology, and research. My name is Jinho Choi. I'm an assistant professor of computer science at Emory University, Atlanta, Georgia, United States. Ready to be inspired? Let's get to it! This episode shares my answers to the interview questions from the Alexa Prize this year. Each question is spoken in a female voice, followed by me. I hope this will give you a better idea of why we are developing a social bot. Enjoy!
Introduce yourself, your team, and school program. What role do you play on the team?
My name is Jinho Choi. I'm an assistant professor of computer science, quantitative theory and methods, and linguistics at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. I'm the faculty advisor of the EMORA team that consists of 3 PhD students and 3 undergraduates from the Emory Natural Language Processing Research Laboratory. As a faculty advisor, my role is to help students develop innovative ideas while managing critical milestones to put those ideas together into a high-quality product.
Why did you choose the field of AI? What sparked your interest?
I remember me saying to my mom as a second grader that I wanted to make a robot that would do homework for me, so I could play outside all day. It has been my dream ever since, and I later realized that it was not the physical robot that I wanted, but the intelligence behind the robot that really attracted me. When most people are calling AI as artificial intelligence, I'd like to call it augmented intelligence because I do not wish to develop technology that deteriorates human intelligence, but maximizes our ability to explore more original ideas by providing synthesis of overloaded information that we can no longer keep track of. Interestingly enough, I had not been in favor of developing a social bot because I did not like the idea of replacing humans with a bot as a social companion. It was the growth of students with mental illness, such as depression or anxiety, that struck me and changed my mind. These students need constant cares and helps, yet they often choose not to talk with anyone. On the other hand, they are usually comfortable interacting with people anonymously in a virtual setting. I decided to contribute to the field of conversational AI, so I could build a social bot that would not only sympathize with those students, but also encourage them to be in touch with other people, so they can get back to cheerful lives as they all deserve.
How did you hear about the Alexa Prize? What interested you about the competition?
This is my second year participating in the Alexa Prize. Developing a chatbot that can conduct engaging conversations with random people for open domain topics requires a huge amount of time, effort, and resource. We had a group of talented people who are willing to put this kind of time and effort, but did not necessarily have the resource to execute. The Alexa Prize fills in the missing piece, which we are so grateful. Not only that, the Alexa Prize also gives us an opportunity to talk with thousands of people daily through our chatbot as EMORA is carrying on our heart and philosophy that we wish to share with the world.
How did you assemble your team? What skills and qualities were you looking for in teammates?
This year, we carefully selected every member of our team who would stay with us even after the competition to continuously improve EMORA. From our last year's experience, we found out that we would need a student specialized in dialogue management to induce pleasing conversations, a student specialized in probabilistic reasoning to make logical inference for deeper understanding, and another one specialized in core natural language processing to extract complex information from user input. We found this expertise from the 3 PhD students in computer science, Sarah Finch, James Finch, and Han He. We also needed students generating diverse content that could be fed into our new dialogue system. The three undergraduates in our team, Daniil, Huryn, Mack, Hutsell, and Sophy, Huang, brought us fresh minds as they are double majoring computer science and other fields such as English and psychology to enlarge Emora's capability of handling a variety of topics.
What is the name of your team and how did you choose the name?
The name of our team is Emora, which has four meanings. First, it is the feminine name of our school, Emory. Second, it has a meaning of a sage skilled in eloquence and persuasion in Hebrew. Third, its reverse form, ahom, means fragrance in French. And the last but not the least, its acronym Amore means love in Italian, as Emora loves you.
How did your team approach designing and building your Socialbot? Where did you start and how did this evolve over time?
Although our last year's Emora won the first place at this competition, we were not satisfied with our approach, which was based on our own platform called the Emora State Transition Dialog Manager. This platform made it easy to connect components handling different topics together and integrate several NLP models into those components. However, the dialog flow was more or less scripted, and we were frustrated by the upper limit of this approach not being able to meet the grand challenge of 20-minute long conversations. Therefore, as heartbreaking as it was, we decided to abandon our last year's platform and build a completely new framework. Our current framework is entirely logic-based, and it performs probabilistic reasoning to make an implicit interpretation of the dialog context and infer the most appropriate concept that can be used to generate the follow-up content. We have internally developed 9 NLP models to represent dialog content into a symbolic graph, and also develop a GPU-based inference engine that can make multiple steps of logical inference by matching the symbolic graph to a huge number of implication rules that represent common sense and the world knowledge. No topic distinction is made, and no conversation is scripted in this approach. One symbolic graph represents all necessary information from the current conversation, as well as previous conversations if available. And the next utterance is generated based on the entire history instead of a couple of utterances above. This enables Emora to conduct a much more engaging conversation that could have not been achieved by our last year's approach.
What was some of the most surprising feedback that you received from peers during this process?
Many people have asked me why we are not using a neural-based sequence model for dialog management. There are multiple reasons, but foremost, we want Emora to actually understand what the users need and be able to fulfill their needs with its own care and feeling, instead of mimicking what other people would have said given the training data. Surprisingly, many scholars accepted the fact that the current state of deep learning was not capable of making such type of reasoning and supported our logic-based idea.
What was the most challenging part of this project? Did you encounter any obstacles or roadblocks during this process? How did you overcome them?
The biggest challenge was to keep believing in that we would be able to pull this off. The framework development itself took about 11 months. That was almost the entire time of the competition. Perhaps we could have done quite well by improving our last year's approach, but we just did not see any way of winning the grand challenge with that approach. Thus, we risked everything to start from scratch and build a new framework that is fundamentally better. I would be lying if I said that I did not care about the result of this competition at all. However, the advancement of conversational AI technology is greater than our own success, which we have emphasized more this year.
What was the most rewarding part of this project?
We have created a logic-based framework for dialog management that does not yet exist. Yes, there are many graph matching tools and prolog environments that can be used to make logical inference. However, we have found none of them scalable enough to conduct real-life conversations as our framework does. We believe that This framework will give an extremely creative way of building a dialog manager for both developers and even ones without intense engineering background, and brings a whole new perspective to the field about how inference can be used to conduct engaging conversations.
Do you have a favorite memory of this project? Or a moment when things came together for you or your team?
Our team has met 3 times a week, and at the end of every meeting, one member is supposed to say something inspirational to the group. These inspirational speeches are spontaneous and momentary, but they have kept reminding us what we really aim for, which is to develop a social bot that cares for you. When one sees the bright side of us and shares it with the rest, everyone sees that side and makes it even brighter, as every team member has shined throughout this competition.
Do you think you're going to win? Why or why not?
As a defending champion, anything other than winning the first place is a downgrade for us. However, we have to admit that the development of our new framework took longer than expected, because we had to create it from scratch without using any third-party APIs, so that we did not have sufficient time to create enough content. Even with a lack of content nonetheless, I believe that we still have a chance to win just because the experience that users have with Emera will be largely different from chatbots that are based on state machine approaches.
Do you have any final things that you would like to share or say?
I'm so grateful and happy that I'm the faculty advisor of this team. All team members have put down everything they have for the last 11 months, not to this competition, but to the field of conversational AI, so we can be ready for the next generation technology. I'm very fortunate that this team will stay with me to enhance our new approach in the following year, regardless of the result of the Alexa Prize. I wish there is a better way of expressing than saying thank you to each and every member: Sarah, James, Han, Dan, Mack, Sophy, and our special guest, Brandon, for staying with me throughout this journey and sharing our vision of developing a social bot that cares for you. Thanks for listening to our channel. You can listen to this podcast through YouTube, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many others, so please don't forget to subscribe. This is the first episode of the Emera project, and there will be many exciting episodes, so stay tuned. See you next time.